I should start by saying this. If you ever hear the clock of Big Ben strike at a time when it shouldn't, leave. Don't stay to count the chimes. Don't listen. Don't look up. Just walk away. I didn't. It was a cold, wet night in London. The kind of night where the rain doesn't fall heavy, but lingers in the air like a mist, clinging to your skin. I was walking alone, the streets unusually empty, the city muffled by the fog that rolled in from the Thames. The glow of the street lamps looked weak, almost swallowed by the gray. And then I saw it, looming above everything else. The clock tower, its face burning gold against the suffocating sky. Big Ben. There was nothing strange about seeing it. I'd passed by it dozens of times before, but that night something felt wrong. Maybe it was the silence. London is never truly silent, but standing there, staring up at the tower, it felt like the world had been muted. The only sound was the faint hum of the clock's machinery far above me, a metallic rhythm, steady and mechanical, until it wasn't. At exactly midnight, the chimes began. They should have been loud, resonant, echoing across the city like thunder, but these sounded different. Hollow, as if the bells were underwater. The sound didn't travel outward, it sank into my bones. Each toll made my chest vibrate, my ribs ache, and worse, there weren't 12 strikes. I counted 13. I remember whispering, "That's not right." And then something shifted in the fog. At first, I thought it was just the mist moving in the light, swirling, but it thickened, condensed, forming a shape that drifted away from the tower and stretched downward. A shadow against the fog, yet somehow brighter, like smoke lit from within. It was vaguely human, long and narrow, with a face I couldn't fully make out, but I swear I felt it watching me. The air grew colder. I could see my breath, even though it hadn't been that cold a moment ago. And with the cold came a smell, burnt metal and something faintly sweet, like rotting fruit. My instincts screamed at me to leave, but my legs wouldn't move. I was locked in place, staring upward at this presence. The figure seemed tethered to the clock face, as though it were spilling out from the golden light itself. It tilted its head slowly, unnaturally, the way a clock's hand jerks from one number to the next. My ears rang, but underneath the ringing I could hear a whisper, not from outside, but inside my skull. Time is broken. That was the moment I realized I wasn't just seeing things. Something inside the tower, something older than the city itself, was bleeding through the cracks of time. And somehow, it had noticed me. I should have run. God knows I should have turned around and left that night, but I didn't. Something about the figure, the way it pulled itself out of the clock's light like smoke escaping a furnace, kept me rooted there. The whisper didn't stop. Time is broken. Over and over, like the tolling of a bell. Only it wasn't just a voice. Every word seemed to crawl beneath my skin, vibrating inside my bones. I covered my ears, but it made no difference. The sound wasn't entering from outside. It was inside me. The mist around the tower thickened, rolling into the street until I could barely see more than a few feet ahead. And then I noticed it. Footsteps. Not mine. Not human. They didn't sound right. Each step was sharp, metallic, like gears grinding. Closer. Closer. The fog parted just enough to reveal it. The figure was no longer just a shadow. It had shape now. Its limbs were elongated, almost jointless, bending in ways that made my stomach twist. Its body shimmered with fragments of clockwork, gears protruding from its chest, hands like sharpened clock hands. But its face, God, its face was wrong. It was as though the clock face itself had stretched into the shape of a human head. Two glowing circles where eyes should be, a jagged crack running straight down the middle, and it was smiling. Not with lips, not even with teeth, but with the sound of grinding metal and ticking echoes. The chimes rang again. Not midnight this time, not any real time. I counted them. 1, 2, 3. They didn't stop. The bells rang endlessly, each toll shaking the ground, making my vision blur. My watch, an old cheap thing on my wrist, shattered right then. The glass cracked, the hand spun wildly, and then it stopped, frozen at 13 past 12. The figure cocked its head at me, as if pleased, as if my broken watch meant I belonged to it now. I stumbled back, finally breaking free of whatever held me. The street behind me was empty, but the fog was alive. Shapes moved inside it, silhouettes pacing in circles, dozens of them, all tethered by strands of smoke to the tower above. I heard whispers overlapping, the voices of men, women, even children, all of them saying the same thing. You heard the extra toll. Now you're marked." My breath quickened. I ran. I don't even remember deciding to. My body just took over. I sprinted down the deserted street, the sound of gears grinding and bells ringing chasing me. Every corner I turned, the fog was already there, waiting. Every time I glanced back, the figure was closer, gliding without moving its legs, the clock face eyes burning into me. By the time I reached the Thames, my chest was on fire. I leaned against the railing, gasping for air, thinking I'd lost it, that maybe it had vanished with the fog. But then, Big Ben struck again. Only once this time, just a single hollow toll that echoed across the river, and the whisper followed me into the silence. "You can't run. Time always finds you." I don't remember how long I stood there by the river, staring at my reflection trembling in the black water. The city around me was still silent, smothered in fog. No cars, no voices, just me, and that toll still echoing in my head. 1. I told myself it wasn't real, that I was tired, that the night had gotten to me. But then I saw it. My reflection wasn't mine anymore. The water rippled, but I wasn't moving. My face in the river was delayed, like I was watching myself on a broken screen. My reflection blinked a second too late, tilted its head when I hadn't, and then slowly it smiled. I stepped back, choking on the damp air, but the reflection stayed where it was, still smiling up at me from the water. The whispers grew louder, overlapping, suffocating. "Time is broken. Time is broken. Time is broken." The Thames itself seemed to tremble with them. And then I heard the grinding again, the sound of gears turning, pulling, winding something vast and ancient. I spun around, and there it was. The figure had followed me. It stood in the fog just beyond the bridge, taller now, its body stretching like the tower itself. Its eyes, those golden circles, burned through the mist. And as I watched, its chest opened like a clock door, gears twisting inside, grinding against one another with sparks. Something hung within it. It took me a second to understand. A pendulum, swinging back and forth, heavy and slow, like a heartbeat carved in brass. Every swing made the ground beneath me shake. Every swing pulled the air tighter, squeezing my lungs. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The pendulum was pulling at me, drawing me forward. My feet scraped against the pavement as if the ground itself was moving. And all the while, the chimes returned. Endless, relentless, not belonging to any time I knew. I was being dragged toward it. The closer I got, the colder it became, until my skin burned with frost. My breath turned to ice in the air. My heartbeat fell out of rhythm with my chest. Too slow, too fast, too slow again. The world around me bent with each swing of the pendulum. Street lamps flickered, the river froze and thawed, and buildings shifted like shadows. I stumbled, clutching at my chest, and for a moment, I saw them. The others. Figures standing in the fog, translucent, their mouths open in silent screams. Their eyes were hollow, and around each of their necks hung broken watches, frozen at 13 past 12. I realized then I wasn't the first, and I wouldn't be the last. The creature loomed above me now, bending low, its head tilting in that jerking, unnatural way. The whisper was no longer many voices, it was one. Deep. Final. "You belong to the clock." The pendulum swung one last time. My watch, cracked and useless, lit up on my wrist. Its hands jerked forward, not to the present, not to the future, but to nothing. Time simply stopped, and in that frozen silence, the world went black.
Subscribe to Horror Story Bar.